Yes, hello, stranger. How's the frames coming for you? Oh, I see green. I'd better strike while the iron's hot there. It's back to red. So we're back to Katawa Shoujo. And here in the Katawa zone, we've got a decision to make. We're finally at that crucial juncture where we need to decide who is best girl. Who do we need in our lives? So, let's load it up. Can you promise me to be more serious about that you're gonna die from now on? I don't know, man. Death isn't so bad. It's kind of like sleeping, except nobody bothers you and you aren't conscious of it. So it's like being blackout drunk in a gutter. What do you think I should say? Write and post your vote for how serious. Hold on, let me back up a little. So the more you slip, so he's saying, hey, you should start being healthy instead of a stupid bitch who's gonna die. Can you be more serious about this? Yeah, alright, yeah. He studies me for a moment and then shrugs, smiling again. Okay. Oh, okay, that's more like it. If you go to the school track tomorrow morning, you'll meet my spy, who probably has no qualms offering consultation to you if you want to jog a bit. Whoa, volume, calm down there. You were so low like 10 seconds ago. What is going on right now? Consultation? See you around. He's so moe. So cute. He leaves with a wave of his hand and no answer, and I walk to Rin, who has been waiting, idly leaning against the hallway wall and staring at the pale lighting fixtures in the ceiling. Even when I approach, she doesn't seem to move her eyes off them. Are you getting medications for your heart thingy? Were you listening? It comes out more accusatory than I intended, accidentally lashing out on her. But even so, I don't really want to start talking about it. I just met her. I don't know her. It's not her business. The nurse seems to be happily ignorant about confidentiality, too, talking about that kind of thing in public. Yeah, that's actually kind of rude. But it's not Rin's fault, is it? I look up at her, suddenly feeling a bit guilty, but Rin is just staring past my shoulder quizzically, her head tilted like a bird's. I don't know why this is so hard for me. It feels like there's some inexplicable lock that prevents me from being more upfront about this. Yeah, they're from my heart. Will they make you better? No, not really. They just make me a little less worse. Rin keeps looking at me for a while longer, and she neither says anything further, nor displays any kind of emotion I could discern. I'm thankful that she doesn't. I think I'm still not quite used to all this. I'm gonna tell you a little something about profiteroles. So, Costco has profiteroles. I got them on discount. They're still not great. But, if I can figure out the exact amount that I can get away with broiling them so that they are crispy, instead of this mediocre cover they have right now, that'll be pretty good. They're intended to be chilled, but I don't know, rich people are stupid snobs. Most fancy cheese tastes terrible. We leave the main building and Rin leads us onwards towards the dorm. We stop at the small patch of greenery in front of the dorm building. The dorm is built on a slightly elevated ground, with a wall and a few trees that everyone has to circle around every time they come or go. It's probably the only inconvenient design in the school. The entire wall, made of the same kind of bricks as the building itself, has been covered with some sort of a painting. Most of it is still mere sketches, quick lines drawn with black and white against the grey plastering that covers almost the entire length of the wall, but some places look a bit more finished. There are human faces and legs and hands. I can't quite say what the painting as a whole might portray. Stacks of what seem to be paint cans are arranged in piles on the ground, beside the wall. Let's see, the left side is hardly off the ground yet. It's because I couldn't get in the mood yesterday, so I gave up and went to meditate instead. Then it was suddenly morning. I have to work on it, but the guys from art class are helping with the negative spaces and base surfaces whenever, which is a problem. It's easier to paint big areas if there's a lot of people with hands. The reach is better, and it's faster too. She goes on a tangent of a tangent, waving a little with her arm, or whatever of it there actually is, to demonstrate even though I got the point already. The white cotton of her sleeve flaps around and makes me think it could look sadder than it does. But it makes me feel out of place, like almost every tangible reminder of the student base's special properties has in the past few days. This girl doesn't notice my dreary feelings, of course, or the fact that she lost me a while ago already, and just keeps on blabbering. So that's why I'm trying to figure out if there's something I need to figure out, and then figure that out before it's too late and all hope is lost. Why would hope be lost? Because paint has to be painted, and then it has to dry, and then it has to be painted over with another kind of paint. It takes time. She finally stops, apparently thinking she made some kind of a statement that makes sense. I think it's best to start from the top. So, this is your project. You did this? Yes. Yes. All of it? Yes. Nice, but... I stumble with my words, suddenly feeling like I've walked straight into the minefield of political incorrectness. Those damn liberals! It's okay, you can say it. I probably won't get mad. I blush really hard. I don't know what would be the right thing to say, if any. It feels like It feels that I'm way more sensitive than Rin is, though. This is really awkward. Don't you want to ask? How do you paint without hands? See, I'm an easy person to talk to, right? With my feet. I almost guessed that already, but isn't that hard to do? You're good at guessing. Anyway, I don't think it is. Maybe, but I'm used to it by now. Boy, if you break that voice, if you fumble a line in that voice, it immediately becomes like a redneck drawl. But maybe I'm used to it by now. No, just fumble it. Let me tell you about how much ribs I eat on Larry the Cable Guy, consume Prilosec. I can't get my mind around the fact that she could be an artist, but seeing how adept she was using her feet to eat, I figure painting might not be a problem either. Neither of us has anything more to add to the subject. The afternoon light works really well. I was afraid it would look too flat, but it's not like that after all. And well, I guess I'm not allowed to put my hand to my face when I'm voicing Rin. That seems unfair. I think it's actually pretty interesting. I wanted to see what it looks like in dim light. Do you think it's flat? Well, paintings tend to be flat. Not like that flat. You know, flat. Like some people are. No substance, no meat where there should be some. Oh, okay, I get it. But I couldn't really tell. I'm not that good with art. Can't name any artists or artistic terms. I don't know what chiaroscuro means. So I don't really have anything to say. Rin shrugs her shoulders at that, saying suit yourself without saying it, and looks up at the sky as if trying to look for something up there. I didn't think I'd get any actual work done. Oh, that's what's annoying me. She comes out, if I do B's voice emphatically enough, she starts to sound like Krillin. I didn't think... jeez, I'm Goku, I'm gonna die. I got kicked through another mountain. I didn't think I'd get any actual work done, but if you give me a hand with the paints, I could do a little more before it's dark. I wanted to get a halogen lamp like the ones they have at the sports track, but there aren't any. Rin sure is quick to recruit my help, as was Shizune. It really makes me feel that the festival is such a big project that every pair of hands is needed. Why not? I'm not really sure if I can be of any help, though. It's just mixing some paints. You can do that. Probably. Do you have motor control problems? Like, you know, those people who have some? Cerebral palsy, maybe? Not that I know of. I get it. Heart thingy has nothing to do with that. She gives me a sly look for no reason. No, it doesn't. Let's do it then. So she sits on an empty wooden box and very naturally picks up a wide brush between the toes of her bare right foot. I open a few of the cans and pour some of the contents into shallow bowls for mixing. The thick paints flow lazily from the can to the bowl like syrup. I mix them, creating funny, hypnotic-looking swirl patterns that melt quickly into each other to form a new monotone here. Monotone hue. Oh, I've completely crashed. What? Rin sets to work, every now and then asking me for a hand with something or the other. Finding different brushes is easy enough, but mixing the paints to be the exact tone this girl is apparently seeing in her head is a frustrating ordeal. She wants precision down to the last milliliter before she is satisfied, but her instructions are obscure at best. Add half a splash of green. I crouch down and pick up the can of bright green. The other green. This green. I carefully pour some of the other green paint into the mixing bowl. No, that's almost a whole splash. More white. Is green a good color to add? No idea. You're the artist here. A hint of a smile appears in the corners of her mouth. Do you lack an opinion? No, it's just that I have no idea. It's okay, because I just got an idea. Add more white. With this exclamation, I pour a minuscule amount of white into the bowl and mix it. It looks slightly whiter. That's not good. It has to be like the color when you wake up and you know that you saw the meaning of life in your dream but can't remember it. Maybe it's yellow. Rin, you're high. You're just so stoned right now, girl. Despite the impossibility of mixing a color like the change of seasons or any other nonsense that's being imposed on me, I find myself enjoying it more than I thought I would. Seeing a painting being born on the plastered wall feels like magic. I'd spend the moments I have between mixing paints crouching down on the paving and just looking at her work. It feels slightly intrusive at first, like breaking some imaginary intimacy, but Rin doesn't seem to mind the least bit. Maybe it's just in my head. Her entire presence emits a completely different air as she patiently works the details, adding layers of paint on top of other layers of paint, steadily moving her foot across the wall to add new shapes. When I manage to produce a passable mixture of paint, the rare smile on her face is oddly rewarding. Apart from the few words when discussing paint mixes, neither of us says a word for the longest time. You know, everybody really liked this game, but I feel like the writing is a little shaky in spots. Like, not the story writing, just the grammar. Just the cadence and flow. And even those short discussions soon evolve into shorthand, both of us developing and using weird impromptu code words for various paints and hues, as if there was some need to conserve words and breath and sound. We stay there late into the evening until it becomes too dark to paint properly. I thought that artists would do, like, the same area they were at, instead of moving around. Because it looks like she has several almost finished sketches. The sound of an alarm pulls me out of a fitful slumber and into the unpleasant state of wakefulness. You and me both, brother. My back is in excruciating pain right now. I don't know why. It's probably a posture thing. I linger under the blanket for a few minutes, gathering energy to rise up while making excuses as for why I already haven't. Honestly, I wouldn't mind staying here all day. School is surprisingly exhausting. Oh, that was intended to be a continuous sentence. School is surprisingly exhausting after a long pause, and the culture shock still has not faded, I think. Still, despite getting an impression that skipping class is easy here, I don't think they're going to let me get away that easily. And the nurse is bound to keep breathing down my neck with the talk of exercising as well. So eventually I do rise up, swallow the morning medications, and put on my old soccer clothing. Thanks to my condition, I was exempted from taking part in gym classes at Yamaku, so I didn't get issued a gym outfit. I ordered some to cover such a contingency, but wearing my old soccer clothes is kind of nostalgic. I can't use them for that anymore, so maybe they can get a new life this way, a bit like me. After all, if I'm going to start taking care of myself, can't afford to slack around. I'll start from the basics. Basics which include keeping the rest of my body in shape, along with what little I can do to strengthen my heart. Maybe then I can go back to something approaching a normal life, or at least something where I'm less likely to fall over dead at any minute. I'm surprised to discover that I'm not the only one present at the track. Not just that, but it's a face I've seen before. Why was there, like, a doom noise in the left speaker? The prosthetic-legged girl who bowled me over in the hallway yesterday is running on the track lightly, like a half-mechanical gazelle. I thought that said gorilla. What was her name again? It was a short one, but I can't remember. Her last name wasn't. She seems to be running laps at a somewhat easy lope, her prosthetic legs clacking rhythmically on the hard track surface. I just realized that Misha translated, like, the properly saying her last name. Did Shizune have to sign out the individual syllables for her name? I guess. I wonder what reason she has for running this early in the morning. Maybe it's something akin to mine, and the nurse is oppressing the poor girl to jog just like he's oppressing me. I certainly wouldn't be here if it weren't for my health, and his prompting me to do so. And even with things being like they are, it's only because I wanted to get it out of the way early. The fact that I would be less likely to encounter someone who would witness my pitiful attempts to get in shape was merely a happy accident. I'd leave, but it happens that my former assailant noticed me on her last lap. She waves at me cheerfully and jogs over.